I'm from Colombia, I'm studying sports science, and I belong to the Human-Computer Interaction group. Today, I'm going to talk about shoulder flexion rehabilitation in patients with monoparesia using an Exergame. Monoparesia is weakness or movement dysfunction of one single limb. The contents for this presentation is the first one, Human-Computer Interaction group. The second one, background on Pyramidal syndrome and Exergame. Next one, shoulder flexion rehabilitation. Why is important shoulder flexion? Then, karate, we have Exergame, the video game designed by our group. Methodology and biomarkers. And finally, quantitative and qualitative results. Conclusions and final remarks. This is our website where you can find more information about all other projects. And currently, we are working in 4 areas in human-computer interaction field. But for this study, we try to complement three areas. Video game for health, using a specialized video game with specific tasks. Gesture interaction, using technologies in order to acquire biosignals and new data. And virtual reality, producing an immersion environment. Three different professionals were part of the video game design. One of them, the designer that proposed the graphical structure of the video game. The researcher in engineering that provide new technologies in order to acquire new data. And the healthcare provider, physicians, psychologists, and sports science professionals that provide new ways to interact with the video game. Pyramidal syndrome is an neuromotor neuron lesion or corticospinal tract lesion that doesn't allow the lower motor neuron to receive orders to control the voluntary movements. This lesion is produced by stroke, traumatic brain injury, cerebral palsy, or brain tumors. And this lesion produces hemiparesis or monoparesis. Hemiparesis is weakness or movement dysfunction on one side of the body, but monoparesis is in one single limb. It depends on the injury severity. And also produce loss of strength and more propensity to fatigue. And this lesion affects quality of life of 1 out of 12,000 people around the world. And the stroke is the principal cause and the fourth most common cause of death in the world, according to the American Heart Association. Exergame is an entertaining video game that combines gameplay with exercise to promote non-sedentary behaviors. This characteristic to promote movements have introduced Exergame in physical rehabilitation therapy. Furthermore, to be exciting and promote social benefits. There are 2 factors in which we think that the use of video games can be successful in the rehabilitation field. One of them, motivation, that improves therapy adherence, inhibition of the pain or delayed to the fatigue by the flow state or concentration state or focus state or immersion that the patient is introduced when he's interacting with the video game, and allows the use of biomarkers in order to establish objective measurements. And the research purpose of our study was to combine traditional physical therapy with reality virtual therapy using the Exergame in order to find improvements in the flexion shoulder angle of shoulder affected by a permotor needle lesion in patients of the Clinica de Dolor de Cafetero, Colombia. We found any problems in game for health research. One of them, they use some non-specialized video games designed by training or another objectives, or subjective assessments, lack of biomarkers, or anecdotic results. We try to resolve these problems using a specialized video game with specific tasks and using technologies in order to quantify the results. Shoulder flexion rehabilitation. This is the normal range of shoulder flexion from 0 to 180 degrees of shoulder flexion. And this movement is important for activities of daily living. For example, when you want to give or receive anything, when you want to reach, to walk, for the balance, for the coordination, to eat, to write, it's important this movement. Current clinical guidelines suggest that activities with specific tasks, repetitive movements, intensive, be challenging, be motivating, contribute to generate neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is remodeling of the brain or change in neural pathways or synapses that contributes to recovery functionality. This is our video game. Has an Asian culture environment, and the patient is represented by a ninja. This Exergame has some features. One of them, specific tasks, where the patient has to break virtual tables, and for this, they should make a movement of shoulder as widely as possible. Also, the patient has to repeat any times this movement. And it's challenging. The patient needs to accelerate the gesture in order to reach the next level of the video game. The video game has difficulty levels. So these three characteristics, be challenging, has specific tasks, and repetitive movements contribute to generate neuroplasticity in the patients. And also it's immersive, thanks to the use of technologies of motion capture, allow a natural and fluid movements of the patients. Methodology, we have 3 inclusion criteria. One of them was to have monoparesia in upper limb caused by sequence of stroke, traumatic brain injury, or cerebral palsy. The second one, to be able to be in a standing position at the moment to interact with the video game. And the third one has 50 or more than 50 degrees of shoulder flexion. According to these criteria, 6 patients were taken into consideration. 2 patients with sequence of stroke, 2 patients with sequence of cerebral palsy, and 1 patient with sequel of traumatic brain injury. So we use combined therapy with assisted methods and virtual reality therapy using the video game. And each patient had 7 sessions, 2 sessions per week, and each session 30 minutes of assisted methods like CABAT, BOBAT, and motor learning methods are methods of traditional rehabilitation, and another 30 minutes with the interaction with the video game. While the patient was interacting with the video game, we register the movements of the patients in order to quantify the results. And finally, of each session, we register in a digital diary some aspects like moods, behaviors, results, and performance of the patient during the session. So we use these tools to quantify the results. We use the Kinect sensor that allows to capture 20 joints distributed in the human body shape and allows to record motion capture data for a posterior analysis using this specific software designed by our group. It's called SeGAH, where we load the motion capture data and allows to explore angular graphic for analyze one specific joint. In this specific study, analyze the shoulder, the flexion shoulder. Results, we compare the results of the 6 patients and we show the best case and graph 3 continuous flexions in 3 different sessions. In the session 2, we can see that the patient has his maximum peak in 130 degrees of shoulder flexion. And in the session 6, the patient have his maximum peak